A long time ago there lived a famous blacksmith. Every single piece of the ironware he sold was handcrafted with passion. On a fateful morning, his equipment caught sight by the Cairo kingdom. Though the ongoing war, it was still an unforeseen opportunity for him to raise his status. After the war, the blacksmith was awarded the position of a baron. And he became the lord of this land, which is young Master Roman's father. I was sitting in front of an old man, listening to my family history. Geez, doesn't he know about this famous story? My butler wondered. A few hours ago I was still unsure about my family tree and who I am in the family. I didn't know that I was in the kingdom of Cairo in the Salamander continent, and a world called Murim doesn't exist. My butler always knew that I wasn't the brightest in the family, but not knowing about my history shocks him even more, as even the innermost part of the city would know about this story. He even started to wonder, was I on drugs or alcohol, which is really common among the rich kids these days. Young master, today is the day that your fiancée, the lady the Lawrence family, visits, my butler reminded. However, the butler was still trying to figure out my ignorance about myself. He thought that staying in my room for the past 25 years must have done some significant damage to my memory. And that, I am also known as the moron of the Dimitri. The lady of the Lawrence family values elegance and manners, so preparing beforehand is, before he could finish his sentence I interrupted. There's something more important than this. Bring me to the eldest person of this territory, I demanded. To me, it's learning about this world is more important than meeting my fiancé. The butler was surprised by my request but couldn't deny me, as his job was just to fulfill his duty. This is all that I know, the elder of the land claimed. Thanks. I will reward you later for this, I appreciate it. Roman Dimitri. My original name is Bak Jungyuk, a person of Murim. Back then, I lived a fierce life. After fulfilling everything in life, I accepted my death. But for some reason, I am in Roman Dimitri's body. Could this be heaven's will? Or is this just God's way of punishing me for refusing ascension? Just then, a shout thundered outside. You bastard, just fucking die. A redhead was kicked in the face in front of the crowd. He fell on the ground as the gang surrounded him. The fruit stall in front of them was a total mess. Fruits and broken baskets were all over the place. Injured, the redhead didn't dare to speak a word against them, fearing for his life. You filthy brat. And again the gang started to brutally strike him, not giving him any chance to stand back up. Excuse me, passing through, as my butler tries to wade through the crowd to check out the situation. That's when he suddenly stumbled across the tattoos on the gang member's arm. What is it? I inquired. He looked up and there I was standing next to him, staring at the fight. It's the Blood Fang. They're loan sharks that acts not only in the Dimitri territory, but also in nearby territories. And it seems like the boy is in large debt, my butler answered. Let's just act like we didn't see anything and slip away. There's no good in getting. Before my butler could even finish talking, I was already gone. Stop, I yelled. The gang paused and looked at me with ferocious looks drawn on their face. Young master, my butler shouted to me. But I didn't heed him and continue walking towards them. Roman Dimitri? The head of the gang recognizes me, however, stepping up because you're of nobility. Ha 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 ha. Stop it, they mocked. Don't mind us, young Master Dimitri. This is just business. Despite my grandeur, the gang decided to ignore me. Master, we must get going. The Bloodfang is vicious. Hans, I yelled at my butler. I still don't know much of the laws of this place. Please explain. Who is in the wrong? And how should they be punished? I demanded. Shocked by my words, my butler was speechless for a moment. Since the boy was in debt and was unable to repay them, he is in the wrong, but at the same time Bloodfang doesn't have the right to gang up on him. And most importantly, they disrespected you. The eldest son of the Dimitri family. By law, they should be sentenced to life or even death. According to territorial law, it's not strange at all for them to receive capital punishment, he claimed. The gang stared back. However, to avoid any conflict, the coward butler tried not to look them in the eye. Did you hear that? You broke the law. Hence, I, the eldest son of Lord Romero Dimitri, will now bestow punishment upon all of you. I understand that you're a noble who doesn't know how the world works, but you're putting us in a real tight spot, talking to us with fang tattoos in such tone. They replied, ready to attack me. That proves it. What? You are trash, thinking of yourself too big in front of the master of the land, then I have no need to know your conduct. I rushed into combat mode, ready to take on all of them by myself. Attack him, the leader shouted as they draw their knives out, attempting to drive it into my body. I dodged and, blood splattered. The leader was stabbed in the throat and all I used was a tree branch I found on the ground. In shock, the others stood there unsure of their next move, but as I was closing in they dashed forward, ready to fight. "Young master!" my butler called out. One of the members threw his knife forward hard towards my head, but failed to drive it in, thus missing his shot. Well, just like any movies, you know when the villain lost his attempt, the hero gains the upper hand. Yeah, I drove the stick right into his septum. Looking at the situation, my butler couldn't believe his eyes. He starts to wonder if I really was the master he knew. However, when I first opened my eyes, what I saw was a will written by the previous owner of the body and drugs on the floor. The Cairo kingdom, which was frequently at war, chose a representative from each household by force. Roman was chosen to represent his family to go to the army, then killed himself out of fear. It was pathetic. But right now, the current owner of this body is the leader of the heavenly demon cult, Baek Jung-yuk. As long as I am in charge of this body, it's gonna be Baek Jung-yuk's way. The last member saw the killing and was terrified. He tried to run away. Nevertheless, I grabbed him by the head. "Let go of me," he cried. I knelt him down to his knees. In order for a group to act decently, the law needs to be enforced. I will spare you this time. But you will need to pay with blood. The crowd that saw the scene was baffled. No one moved a single muscle. Everyone was terrified. My name is Roman Dmitri. If any of you disagree with my punishments, feel free to see me anytime.